Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Licensing Subcommittee. Three of us here are deciding on the application, three here. The fourth member of a councillor is Councillor Wilson, she's just observing. We have Legal Services next to me and Democratic Services the other side there. I think you've met Peter Jones, our licensing officer. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves, please.
My name is Akhtar. I'm representing
So, hold on, you need to do, go on, sorry.
Could you just ask if you can put your microphones on?
Oh yes, sorry that. When you speak, could you put the microphone on? Yeah. We'll start again. If you could introduce yourself first.
That's fine.
I apologize for being late for the simple reason that although I have come all the way from Gerrards Cross in Buckinghamshire, but Nadia was held up for various reasons. So the apology is due to you for being late.
Okay.
And I have already given my name. That's Akhtar, it's A-K-H-T-A-R. And I'm representing Nadia.
And your name was
Nadia.
Right.
Nadia.
And next to you is.
My husband, Iqbal Junaid.
Okay. Right. The position is I'll ask license. Just turn them off. The microphone.
One at a time.
Yeah, that's it. I'll ask Peter Jones, our licensing officer, to introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. This application is to vary the premises licence at Metro Superstore in Chigwell. If I could just give you a quick background, it may help. In September 2010, there was a premises licence review, which resulted in the licence at this premises being revoked. That review... Sorry.
I forgot to say that the meeting is going to be webcast, and it will be there for anyone to see later on. Sorry about that, I forgot to do that to start with.
Do you want to just read what it says there?
Yeah. So I'd like to remind everyone that the meeting will be filmed live or recorded and uploaded to the internet, and will be capable of repeated viewing. Therefore, by participating in the meeting, you are consenting to be filmed and to be possible use of this images sound recordings. If any public speakers on MS Teams do not wish to have the image captured, they should ensure that their video setting throughout the meeting is turned off and set to audio only. Members and public speakers are reminded to turn on their microphones and turn them off when finished. And if you have a mobile phone, if you could turn it off, please. Right. Okay, Peter, thanks very much. Please continue.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry. I just wanted to give you some background. This application is to vary a premises licence at Metro Superstores in Chigwell. In September 2010, the previous premises licence was revoked following a licence review. The evidence of that was sale of alcohol to minors, threatening and intimidating behaviour of people congregating, mainly youths, litter and broken bottles and spitting. As part of that evidence, trading standards had visited and witnessed transactions to young-looking males, but there was no evidence of them being underage. That licence, as I say, was revoked. After that was revoked, there was a new application for a new premises licence by Metro Superstores Limited. There was no links to the previous premises licence holders. That licence was granted in November 2010 with restrictions, as we are looking to remove today, the no sale of alcohol between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. daily. Then in March 2012, there was a further variation where the times were slightly increased. And again, there was a request for these 3 hours to be restriction to be lifted. At that time, they were not. Again, Essex Police were concerned that due to the location of the school, that the problem may arise again. We are now 12 years on from that date, and following a compliance visit earlier this year, meeting the licence holders, they again expressed interest in how to remove this restriction because it was impeding their business somewhat, and hence the variation today. You'll see from the papers submitted to you, there have been no objections from Essex Police, Training Standards or our environmental noise team, which supports the fact that the previous issues in 2010, there have been no further complaints. So the restriction obviously has worked, but there's no evidence to suggest that by removing that restriction, those problems would recur. So I say this application is to amend the hours Monday to Saturday to start at 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. And Sunday they wish to close an hour earlier, 10 o'clock and not 11 o'clock. And the removal of the condition restricting the sale of alcohol between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. The residents' objections are all attached and they relate to all four of the licensing objectives, many of which cite the concerns previously raised in 2010. Aside from that, Chair, if you've got any other questions, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. We have actually no objectors here in person, but we've got it on our agenda. Yes. Okay, I'll ask you. That's it. Right, if you'd like to present your application, please.
Sir, if I have your permission, I'm sorry, I've got only 3 sets of documents, not 5. So can I present it to you?
Yes, yes, please.
Mostly it is already within the knowledge of the council.
You're right. I'll with you. Okay, please continue.
Thank you. So I had a look at the revised guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003 by the Home Office. And looking at it, paragraph 860 indicate that the applicant's applications to vary the timing be considered on a case-by-case basis. So therefore, there is no general instructions for you to follow. It all depends on the merits or demerits of an individual application. As far as the present application is concerned, that is in furtherance to the earlier license which was issued in 10th of December 2010 with the conditions as indicated there from 8 to 1600 hours, 7 to 2300 hours. Now the application is for the extension of 3 hours. That is to say from 4 to 7. The background of this application is that for the last 12 years, to the knowledge of the applicant, there has not been a single complaint which was brought to the attention of the council or to the applicant. Secondly, as it has already been indicated by the clerk to the subcommittee, that there has been no objections for this application from the county council and the police, which was present in 2010. I don't know whether you would recognize me or not, or whether you were in that subcommittee or not. I represented them at that time as well. At that time, the churches, the police, and the council had their objections, but following our submissions, the committee, the subcommittee, was able to approve this application. So my simple point is that because of the so inverted commas good character and not having received any complaint during that period of 14 or 12 years, it therefore follows that if the subcommittee were to grant them the permission, it is very likely that they will conform to the permission and will not give any chance to complaint. The confirmation of the not making any objections has already been indicated to you. Lastly, my submission is simply that because of the previous good character, so to speak, the likely chances in the future are that you will not have a cause to complain again. As to the objections, there are 6 objectors, and all of them, as far as I could gather, have based their objection on speculation. It can happen, it will happen, but not a definite statement that there are the facts available or there is any complaint arose during that particular period. So that is basically my submission to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions? Have you any questions for the applicant?
Yes, I have some questions. The application is for to vary premises licence. There's lots of allusions to internal changes to the building, external changes. Please correct me, but I don't think that is an issue for this committee, whether it's on this application. That is a planning issue, not a licensing issue. One question I do have about your statement about the good record. Perhaps the good record is there because the time restrictions are in place. Your premises are very near a school, and the restrictions to not sell alcohol between the hours of 4 and 7 are there as a safeguard to stop youngsters being encouraged to buy and consume alcohol. That is perhaps more of a statement than a question, but that is what crossed my mind. Furthermore, and maybe the officer can correct me, I thought there was a condition I read in the documents which the times were actually from 10 o'clock till 4. Perhaps you could correct me if I'm wrong.
1 second, sir.
Mr. Jones, I'll just look it up.
So the current licence permits the sale of alcohol Monday to Sunday, 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. till 11 p.m. The new application seeks to start at 7 a.m. daily, but to terminate at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, still 11 p.m. the rest of the week. and obviously remove those 3 hours restriction between 4 and 7.
Okay, thank you.
Somewhere in our paperwork, I did see the hours of 10 o'clock. The other issue is that I question why is there a requirement to sell alcohol at 7 o'clock in the morning?
Just press the
Oh, sorry. You better explain yourself rather than me explaining.
My English is not so good, but I will try my best, yeah? Actually, you know very well that internal I did change. I tried for the cafe to open, but still I'm not opening because I want first all the permissions, then I will open it. So for the cafe, I need to open early so I can give the fresh, food for the breakfast. That's why the reason. If this cafe area is opening, of course the premises whole will be open at 7 o'clock. And during time, if someone wants, that's why we want that it should be like 7 o'clock.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Just turn your microphone off, please.
Yes,
Thank you.
please. Thank you. So you're saying that you're aiming to open a cafe, and with that cafe, if someone was to come in and order a breakfast, then they can also order alcohol with their breakfast. So you want it from 7 o'clock in the morning?
I know.
And 7 o'clock, they make a demand for the service of the alcohol. Will you serve it? But so that is permission is already there.
But we will not serve with the food. You know, I don't want.
Sir, you turn your microphone off.
I don't want anybody drink on my premises. This will be strictly notice on the board, or it will be in the camera recording. It is not allowed to drink on the premises. On that area, it's not allowed to drink. Never. So if anybody try, we will call the police. This is written on the note. We will write note like this type.
My misunderstanding then, so it sounded like when you were speaking that you were going to open up a cafe and people were going to come and order alcohol with their meal, which is obviously good. Okay, as long as that's, yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? Any questions from
I do.
others? Okay, go on.
When you say you're going to open a cafe, is this not a change of use of your premises?
I
Not
sub-
really relevant to us.
That's a planning remit.
No, it's all right. That's not a licensing matter. That's a planning matter. Any other questions?
No, it's just obviously, yeah,
Mr. Jones, have you any questions?
I've got no questions. I may be able to assist with a little bit of clarity from my visit, if that helps. So what they're intending to do is have coffee and croissants available for breakfast for sort of commuters passing by in a decking area. There are planning applications for those purposes. This obviously is only concerning the alcohol, which is for consumption off the premises only, if that helps.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any questions? No.
Closing statement? I might need to
do a closing statement.
Yes, yes. Well, gentlemen, any closing statement you want to make before we...
In final submission, sir, I will take up the point which Mr. Jones made earlier on with regard to service of alcohol in the morning. But the permission is already there. Now, as a result of that, this has been in operation since 2010, and there have not been any complaints. If there were, they had not been brought to the attention of the council or the police. So therefore, it's fair to assume that with that permission in hand, the likelihood is that they will ensure that no cause of complaint arises, basically. And finally, I will say to you, sir, that at the moment, the attention of the council, of the subcommittee is brought to the point that this is the period between 4 to 7 o'clock in the evening, in the afternoon or evening. Now that is the period where we are asking you to concentrate and see the possibility, bearing in mind the background, that could there be a complaint arising of. And the chances are until now, that because there have been no complaint, so therefore, to assume that there would definitely be a complaint during that particular period is to me a little bit too long. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Now, if there's no other questions for anybody, if you'd like to leave us for a moment while we make the decision, please. Yeah. The Licensing Subcommittee decision sheet for an application for a premises licence under the Licensing Act 2003. Premises address Metro Superstore, 785 Chickle Row, IG8 8AU. The Licensing Subcommittee considered an application to vary a premises licensing inspector Metro Super Store at 785 Chickle Row, IG8 8AU, in accordance with the details starting on page 10 of the agenda. The representations in support and against the application have been taken into account, and we have also considered what is appropriate to promote the 4 licensing objectives and the relevant parts of the Council's licensing policy and government guidance. During our deliberations in private sessions, our licensing officer clarified the revised opening hours offered by the applicant. The committee noted that all submissions and representations, both oral and written, made in relation to this application. So the application is granted to amend the layout of the premises as detailed in the new plan. This is add a counter at the rear of the premises for serving items such as coffee and cakes. To amend the licensing hours of the premises, reduce the terminal hour on Sunday from 23 to 2200 hours. To remove conditions attached to the premises licence in 2010, restricting the sale of alcohol between 1600 and 1900 daily. The applicant and the persons who have made the representations are reminded of their right of appeal to Magistrate Court within 21 days of the date of the written application. So that is the application is granted, just the amended hours on Sunday. Okay, and so if you're not, you can apply to the Magistrate's Court if you are not satisfied.